everyone, welcome to another episode of No Title Needed, coming to you from the beautiful Feinstein's Cabaret at the Hotel Carmichael in Carmel, Indiana, USA. I am Cynthia Collins.
And I'm Scott Osborne.
Yes, and our yes, that means yes, we are.
As always.
As always, that's going to be our tagline. And today our guest is Christine Thacker. Did I get that right?
Nice. Well done.
Otherwise,
it's a mouthful.
It is, and otherwise known to some people as Chrissy.
Oh, right.
Yes. In high school, cold cuts.
Yes, cold cuts.
Yeah, you told me that. And that was a
That's
mistake.
fun.
That you let that.
Yeah, there's a few select people in Ohio that get to call me Chrissy.
Well, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
You are, well, first thing, you're a longtime friend of Gregory Hancock. This is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So, but now you are actually working with him.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, we've had multiple evolutions of our friendship and our working partnership. And I think this one is exceptionally exciting because I'm kind of his right hand and his partner to a degree. I'm officially his executive assistant and coordinator, which is something he's needed for a very long time. And so I'm happy to step into that role.
I agree. Because even though he is a Renaissance man,
Yes.
and
One of a kind.
Oh, he is a one of a kind, and I highly respect him.
Me too.
As an individual, right?
And as an artist.
And as an artist and as a friend, I say that. You need someone.
He's been a one-man show for a really long time, and he's done amazing things as a one-man show. And so he just needed someone who understood his art, who understood him, who worked well with him. And the timing was perfect because I was making a career transition myself. And one snowy January day, we sat down over some Mexican food and hammered it out. Said, let's do this. So,
Did he make the food?
no, he did not.
Because I wouldn't be surprised.
He did not. But if you've ever seen his kitchen,
I've seen
is,
his kitchen.
have you? Yes. Okay.
I've
so you
seen
know
his
what I'm
whole
talking about.
house.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it's a
It's a
museum,
museum.
basically. Yeah.
I tell people that.
So
I'm like, when you walk in there, you're walking into a museum of cultures and country, and every room.
ever seen it?
I have not seen it.
You
Oh,
dig it.
Yeah.
Oh,
a
my
lot of
dig
travel.
it.
And most of it he's done himself because he's such an artist.
His furniture. Okay, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, how did you get to meet him? Weren't you younger and
I
was
was.
showers?
I was. Well,
there?
so I was a dancer at Butler. That's how I came to Indiana and Indianapolis. And I was very much a bunhead, very much ballerina, and walking the halls of Butler University as a dancer, headed from one class to another. And I saw this poster that was hanging up for the Nutcracker. And, everyone does the Nutcracker. And it's this lovely candy-coated, holiday tradition, which it has its place as a holiday tradition. And I revere it for that purpose. But this poster had a little girl in a big cardboard box, like she was homeless and she was tattered. There was no curls. There was no pretty dress. And this broken Nutcracker sitting next to her and this street rat kind of looking over the box. And I was like, what is this? I had never seen anything like it because there was, in my experience, there was only one version of a Nutcracker ballet. And that was my first exposure to Gregory. And ironically, I saw him walking the hallways because when he first started the company as a part-time company many years ago, it was Indianapolis Dance Company, and they rehearsed in the evenings at Butler's studios for a while. And so I would be leaving, a regular Butler Ballet rehearsal, and they would be kind of moving into the studios to start their rehearsals. And as you know, Gregory is the kind of person, when you see him once, you don't forget him. This is a walking artisan. He is a walking piece of art. And so that was my first introduction to him. And time passes, and many years later, maybe about 5 years later, I was not dancing anymore. I had kind of burned out because I had been a professional dancer I'd been taken into a company at the age of 15. So trainee, apprentice, and working my way up. And then when I was 18, I was like, I'm leaving home. I'm going to get a degree because this won't last forever, and so I wanted to get my dance degree. But, by the time I was in, my early mid 20s, I'd burned out of ballet. I mean, I was like, I'd lost the fire. And I'd stopped doing it. And I said, I think I'm just going to, work a 9 to 5, become a physical therapist. A lot of dancers go into medical, employment after dance. And, but that wasn't working for me either. I was living for the weekends. I was like, this 9 to 5 thing is just kind of killing me a little bit. And why am I, getting through 5 days so that I can live for 2 days? And, as an artist, that's kind of something that lets you know that you're not doing the right thing, And at that moment, I opened a newspaper and there was this write-up, Gregory Hancock Dance Theater, and the picture was gorgeous. And I looked at the dancer and I looked at the name under it and I realized that I had gone to Butler with this particular dancer who was working with him. And so, of course, this is before Google and the internet, I think in general, probably.
So you had to actually call them.
Right. I had to do some research. I had
3 times.
Yeah, I had to
Sending your stuff in the mail.
Right. Yeah. So,
Sure.
I researched and I found her number and I was like, I have nothing to lose. So I just called her out of the blue and I was like, hi, I don't know if you remember me, but I saw that you're dancing with Gregory Hancock and I would like to do something like that. And can you help me? And she said, yeah. And so I started taking class with her and started taking class with Gregory. And then I auditioned and probably 6 months later, I was in the company.
You recaught the buzz.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Hey,
Well, were you doing Pointe work?
Yeah.
As a and
Yeah.
that is
Yeah, it is. And
that is so.
it's
I mean, your feet. It is very difficult.
it is. Yeah, people think it's something special about the shoes. It's not the shoes. It's the dancer.
Oh, the shoes rack your feet.
Yeah,
Your
it
feet
is.
Will be.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It's the artist, and I've gone into. I have several degrees now, but dance research is one of my passions as well. And they don't. It's like, yes, when you go up on your toes, you have your own body weight, but when you factor physics and gravity and other factors into it, you actually have 12 times your body weight down on top of your toes. And
On a cork.
yeah. You're putting your entire body weight on 2 inches of space, and then manipulating that and dancing.
Oh, it's
incredible.
brutal.
It takes a lot of strength, and it is
brutal.
It is hard. It is hard on the feet.
Yeah, and a lot.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people who mostly the women, because they're
Right.
They're
Just
dancing
women are most of the point dancers.
right.
Yeah.
They have to. You got to move into something else. I mean,
You do.
You just can't.
You do.
It just wrecks your body.
The career.
only imagine the calves, like the burn on your calves.
Oh yeah.
And the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
all of it.
We have to take a break. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Take a little break. We'll be back right after this word from our sponsor. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to No Title Needed with our guest Christine. And hello, welcome back.
Thank you.
And we were before the break talking about Gregory Hancock and how you got introduced to him, and then you became a dancer with his company. Okay, now let's rewind. But
Yeah.
all the way back before Butler.
Yeah.
A small child in Ohio
Yeah.
with big dreams.
Yeah. It's, I started dancing when I was 3, and could only go so far. I grew up in a medium-sized town. But there's only one dance studio there. And so after I got to like a certain level with that studio, my folks blessedly started looking for new opportunities for me in bigger cities that were nearby. And so I started dancing with a ballet company that going back to the Nutcracker, that did a version of the Nutcracker every year. And so I was about 14, 15 years old. And they always brought in a guest artist for Sugar Plum and Prince. And traditionally, every year I had done it, it had been this couple, ironically from Indianapolis, from Ballet International, before it was Ballet International, who did some freelance work. And they were lovely. There was this Russian couple, and they were lovely, but they weren't very personable, and they kind of came in and did their thing and went out. And one year, they brought in Evelyn Cisneros. And I don't know if you know Evelyn. She's one of the first Latina principal dancers in the country.
Okay.
And so she was from San Francisco Ballet. And they brought
Excellent ballet company.
Right. San Francisco does amazing work. So, of course, I didn't know that yet because I was 15 in Ohio and it was the 80s, right? So they bring in Evelyn Cisneros and she was gorgeous. And this phenomenal, she was my Misty Copeland. I had never seen a principal dancer who looked like me. I'd never seen it. They were always, very pale, very thin, very blonde. And here was this gorgeous woman, and she was warm, and she talked to us, and she signed my Pointe shoe for me. And she offered us food from her dressing room. She was just this amazing professional. And on stage, she just glowed. And for me, especially growing up in the 80s in ballet where representation was almost non-existent. I was the only person who looked like me in almost every room I ever walked into. It just blew my mind. And it was the first time I said, I could do this. I could do this. This is possible. When I saw Evelyn Cisneros as our sugar plum, I realized that it was possible. And I also saw how she interacted with people. And that was the kind of person that I wanted to be, that kind of a professional and that kind of a mentor who paid it forward. I don't want to say that I wanted to be inspiring, but it's just how she was as a human being and as an artist that I said, this is something that I could do. And this is the type of person that I want to be. And I really think that is molded my entire career with Gregory. I think it's molded my entire career as an educator. I spent almost 15 years as an educator at a university and co-chairing a dance department.
Where was that?
Anderson, when they had their dance program. I was at Anderson.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, we can
talk about that later.
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
That is. But I mentored.
But what dance
students
company
through
were
that.
you with in Ohio?
It was Toledo Ballet Association. And so I was in Northwest Ohio and Toledo Ballet and then Dayton Ballet because I had family. My dad was from Dayton. My parents were the original Loving, they got married right after it had been okayed for them to get married in 1968. They actually got married 2 days after Dr. King was killed. And that was a choice that they did that. And so my dad's family was in Dayton and my mom's family was from a farm up in Northwest Ohio. And so we kind of anchored ourselves somewhere in the middle. And so I spent summers in Dayton with Dayton Ballet and DCDC. And I spent most of the winter season up where Toledo Ballet was and dancing ballet with them. And then eventually moved over here to Indianapolis. I felt like I had the best of all the worlds. I really did. I had country, I had city, I had black, I had white. And then I grew up somewhere in the middle, in this lovely little idyllic small town kind of a setting. So, and then I found Gregory, which fostered all the things that I wanted to be because I was done just being a ballet person. I could be Lizzie Borden with Gregory. I could be Joan of Arc with Gregory. I could be Mary Magdalene with Gregory. I could be Esmeralda. I could be Snow White. And that was something that he didn't put me into a mold that he felt audiences would accept. He put me into the places that he knew I could handle artistically.
And he has no mold. His shows are just, they're great.
Yeah.
And wonderful. They're so interesting. I've never seen one that I'm not like, this keeps my attention from start to finish. It's not just the dance. The dancers are fantastic.
Right.
It is, of course, that. But it's his vision of stuff.
He's such a good storyteller. Every single one of his shows has a message, and he relays it very well.
Yeah, if you love a good story, and if you love something that has layers, because he sees the entire image, from the beginning. He knows what he wants it to look like at the end. It's not just I'm going to create steps and put together something. It's the music curation that he does, the research that he does. He knows what he wants the costuming, the lighting to look like, and he works with people that can make that vision happen for him. And as a result, he has a very complete package when it's over, and something that's always touching or exciting.
What is okay, so he's not gonna do the Nutcracker coming up this season.
Right.
But what
We're doing Winterfest
instead.
Yeah, we're doing Winterfest, and that's over at the Florence, which is our black box theater. It's got state-of-the-art lighting. It's our black box theater, and as you know, Gregory is a cultural ambassador. He's a world traveler. He's involved in he's cut his hands in many different cultures here as an ambassador in Carmel and central Indiana. And so he wanted to do Winterfest, which is, our Nutcracker has a lot of cultures that are represented in Act 2, different than other traditional Nutcrackers. And so he took that concept and he put that into Winterfest, but he wanted to add the concept of holiday festivals that we're all celebrating at that time. So Christmas is celebrated, but Kwanzaa is celebrated, as well. And he wants to just,
oh, sure, Hanukkah.
Oh, of course, Hanukkah. Of course. Absolutely.
His mother was
right.
Jewish.
Yeah, he has multiple backgrounds, like I do. We both come from kind of a double layered background. And so he took that concept of multiculturalism and he put it into Winterfest and put it in the Florence. And I think it's going to be a great show. It's holly jolly sparkly, and we're within walking distance of the Christkindl Market, so you can enjoy the festivities here, and you can come over and see our concert, and it's within walking distance. You don't even have to move your car if you don't want to, and do both.
Make a whole day.
Make a whole day out of it.
Park early.
Yes.
Come early and park early. Yes. Always.
Yeah, it's good. He's going to be over there in the Florence because it's in their own space. Space. It's not dealing with no. Well, first thing, you couldn't even get into the booth during dinner and Christmas at all. That's very tough. And with that Christmas market, which is mayhem over there, you're staying away from that, which is great, in my opinion.
It's people don't realize that facility rentals for concerts and theater productions in Indianapolis particularly, it's hard. Yeah. Things are booked early. And I was with Gregory when he was first floating the concept of an academy. That was when I was still his principal dancer, and I was dancing in the company, and he's like, "This is my dream." And I retired before that part, fulfilled. And so I retired and was doing my own thing for a while. And that's when he got the academy. And then he was like, "You know what? We need our own space. We need our own space so I can do shows like the Melange. I can do Winterfest. I can do our February concerts, which run the entire month of February. Because otherwise at the Tarkington, we run one weekend.
Well, you can't. You run 3 days. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible because it's not his main space.
Right. It's not. It's not. And so when he does, something like Winterfest, it'll run most of December. When he does the pageant or what our February concerts are, it'll run the entire month. And it's our space.
Right.
All right. We have to wrap it up. Can you
already?
Believe it? Yes. I know. It's a wrap.
We could have talked all day.
Yeah, well, we might. But we're going to have all the information for Winterfest. It's going to come right up on the screen. Everybody's going to know where to go. Of course, it's the Center for the Performing Arts, where he always is, or the Florence, where he's going to be for that. Yep. The Gregory Hancock Dance Company Space Theater. My God, I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's a dance company that is part of the dance theater.
Only one woman.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Thank you. No,
hey, girl.
So
I see you.
Trust me.
Bye.
Trust me. Christine, thank you for being. It's been really appreciate it. Wish you all the best with Gregory. He's lucky to have you.
Oh.
And especially your long history with him really makes a difference in doing what you're doing with him now.
To be back to
yes, I think it's a match made in heaven.
Thank you.
And speaking of heaven, come on over to Feinstein's and see a heavenly show. They have so much.
Nicely done.
Thank you so much, Scott, for your exit. And but come on over, see a show. They have a wide variety of entertainment over here, and they have something going on almost every night. And it's a beautiful space, and it's great cocktails and great food, and you won't be sorry you came to see something here. But we're going to wrap this up finally. And I am still Cynthia Collins.
And I am still Scott Osborne.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.